I'm just gonna say it. Nazi Germany and Animal Crossing have more in common than you might initially think. And here's what they share. Fascist ideology and propaganda. It's built into the lore, the mechanics, the characters, and even some cool real-life events. Even if it doesn't look like it. But for you to get any of this, you need to know what the flip fascism is. So I'll explain it with the story. Imagine a playground. Someone's already in charge. His name is Big Tommy. Every morning, you line up and listen to Big Tommy's announcements.
7.
No!
7.
Even though you want to cut off your ears, you can't skip it. Big Tommy decides all the rules, which games you play, how many kids on the swings, and he tracks everything. He's got a point system. Get enough points, you unlock the cool part of the playground with the good slide. Nobody argues. If you try, the other kids look at you like you just said Sonic 06 was the best game ever. There's no other playground. This is just how things are. That's fascism. But there's a problem, because when we think of fascism, we usually think of something more like
everybody, I come here for everybody, kill everybody!
And while it's true, Animal Crossing doesn't have tanks and machine gun frogs, there's an important reason for it. A reason we can find through context. You see, fascism was created by this guy, Benito Mussolini, right in the turmoil of the First World War. But it's different in Animal Crossing, because in that world, the war has already ended. The battle is over. And thus, the fascist propaganda isn't meant to help anyone win. Instead, it's trying to maintain the victory. It's less violent and more cozy. But this is all talk. What's the actual evidence that the world has already been through a war? Okay, so proving this world is post-apocalyptic would mean dragging you through like 20 minutes of evidence. Comment if you'd like to see that video. But here are the basics. You're the only human. The people are furries. The world is strangely empty, and that technology is completely controlled. You're not a tourist. You're on a deserted island resettlement package. Something bad happened. Apocalypse level bad. And during the rebuilding of society, the people were forced to choose either chaos or a system of order. And everyone was so desperate, they would accept any system, even a fascist one. But how did things end up like this? Well, someone had to rebuild society and install the regime. And that someone is Tom Nook.
Huh?
If you're not familiar, Tom Nook is this tanuki-shaped overlord who runs everything. In other words, he's the fascist dictator. From the start, you learn he owns the island, runs the resident services, and even is in charge of phones. That's right, your phone is more bugged than the average Spy Kids gadget, because Tom Nook sees everything, even the need to pick your nose. But players, although not consciously aware of it, have always felt something was off. Back in 2003, in the annual Nintendo Power Awards, Tom Nook was nominated as one of the top new villains. Nintendo obviously dropped his nomination, saying, "He isn't a villain." Yet, for 20 years, people have been calling it out. And for 20 years, Nintendo has tried to keep it hidden. Because the more you look at it, the worse Tom Nook appears. Even those roles Tom Nook doesn't directly control, like the shop, are placed under his willingly responsible dependents, further cementing his role as a dictator. And the money is even a bigger tell of his villainy. The bells are the only currency you can use. Why? Because if the government doesn't want you to trade with anyone else, they can stop you. And if you can't trade, you could say, well, actually you don't, because no money means no power. And Tom Nook knows this. After all, what's the first thing he does when you arrive? It's to put you into debt. Also notice how he isn't Super 2003 Hulk about collecting your money. Because for him, money isn't an issue. He controls it. And this illusion of debt is just something else to keep you in line. But it's worse than just debt. Even the tools you need to survive, fishing rods, axes, shovels, can only be made at his DIY workbench. You can't mine, craft anywhere else. Every fish you catch, every tree you chop, every fossil you dig, it's all done under his watch. You're not just in debt to him, you're dependent on him for basic survival mode. Even if you try to sell fruit or catch fish, it all goes back to him. There's no other buyer, no other market. You provide the labor, he sets the prices. He takes his cut and you thank him for it. But Tom Nook isn't trying to appear cruel. Remember, he's already won the war. He saved everyone. He doesn't need to be a bad guy, because there's no enemies. But there's always the exception. The people who wake up and become aware of the system. Why don't they rebel? It's because they feel bad. The debt they accumulated is something they owe to the regime that prevented their extinction. So here's a question. If Tom Nook doesn't use violence or fear, how does he maintain control? How does he ensure people stay in line? It's through the system itself. After all, it is the system that restricts certain features, like concerts. Like when Elvis was doing that thing with the mic and the thing in his throat and so on. Oh, and the ability to terraform your island. They restrict these features by using an island rating. You could say it's just like real life HOA. And as you know, for every HOA, there's an HOE who is in charge. This is Isabel. In short, she's a tyrannical war criminal pencil neck fascist middle manager with the ability to destroy your dreams. Forget about being creative. That's for noobs. If you want to get ahead in your island's rating, you better not have more trees than she likes, or otherwise she might penalize you for being too rural. Wanna be a little bit of a slob? Sorry. No more than 50 items on the ground? That's too messy. Like having a lot of cramped stuff? Well, sorry, that's not really Isabel's jam. But don't worry, you can absolutely be as creative as you want. Just not in a way that Isabel dislikes. She determines what's proper. She decides what's acceptable. Don't like it? Fine, then forget about a lot of the game's content. And as my boys say, oh baby, you should go and love yourself. But the island rating isn't even the worst problem. Welcome to the HHA, the Happy Home Academy. It's not just the island being judged. Your home is too. Every single morning, the Happy Home Academy does their rounds at your house. And over the course of the week, you get a letter with a score and advice on how to improve. If your furniture faces a wall, points lost. Items must be usable. If your colors don't match the Feng Shui system, well, you're feng screwed. If your house has roaches because you haven't played in a while, well, too bad. You're being watched daily. But it's not framed as an invasion of privacy. It's framed as helpful. After all, they're just giving you friendly advice. This is what surveillance looks like when fascism has already won. It's not some scary secret police. It's a cheerful weekly report card. But the most fascist thing that I can think of is that every single day, before you can even play, Isabel appears with an announcement. And holy macaroni and cheese, it's a donkey licking worst. To be fair, sometimes there's actual news, a visitor on the island, a special event, or something. But most of the time, she talks about the stupidest, dumbest, most asinine things imaginable. Oh look, I watched some TV last night. Oh look, I found a sock on my laundry. Oh look, why is this magazine so sticky? And honestly, you can mash the A button as fast as you want, but you cannot skip it. You must sit through the brain-numbing announcements before you're allowed to proceed. Annoying? Sure. But why is it fascist? Because fascism thrives on rituals, on mandatory participation, on making you acknowledge the state's presence every single day before you're allowed to do anything else. Just like my boy BM had his radio broadcast, Tom Nook has Isabel's morning announcements. The content doesn't matter. What matters is that you cannot ignore it. You must listen and receive the message. Even if the message is,
I like turtles. All right.
And it's not just the HHA watching. The Nook Mile system tracks every activity you do. Fish caught, weeds pulled, fossils dug up. You're never not being observed because everything is designed to reinforce the system. And the effects are visible in the people. Did you know that Animal Crossing has over 400 villagers? Sounds pretty good, right? But once you start interacting with them, you'll soon come to realize that some villagers say the same thing over and over again. And some even seem like the same person. One could argue this is a technical limitation of the game. Except it's not. While doing my video about Stardew Valley, I came to learn that the whole game was made by a single person. And that game has way more distinct characters than Animal Crossing. Each character has its own unique dialogue and even character development, period. But Nintendo didn't care about uniqueness or individuality. Don't believe me? You can look up the official site and find there's only 8 personalities for the villagers. 8 personalities for 400 villagers, meaning everyone is just a Control-C, Control-V variant. And this is no random bug. This is a design choice. A natural reflection of the fascist regime Animal Crossing is pushing. Because the game doesn't want individuals, it wants categories. Citizens who fit into predefined boxes and behave predictably. And I'm sure this is done on purpose because of one reason. The thing I coincidentally hated the most in school. History of Animal Crossing. In the older games, villagers had personality. They were mean sometimes. They call you close an affront to eyeballs everywhere. They call you a mental case if you did something weird. They get genuinely angry if you hit them with their net or push them. There was conflict. There was edge. There was personality. But New Horizons removed all of it. Villagers are now oppressively nice. If you hit them with the net, they get mildly confused for 30 seconds, then forget it happened. Arguments are impossible. Insults don't exist. Everyone is happy all the time. You cannot express criticism. You cannot disagree. Remember, Big Timmy didn't want to be mean. He just didn't want you to disagree with him. In Animal Crossing, it's the same. Disagreement is just unimaginable. So why did Nintendo change the villagers? Sure, you can come up with some welcoming for all ages PR spin, but remember, it's all about context. Tom Nook's society was born from the ashes of the old world. The people have pathologized disagreement to such an extent that conflict is not even discouraged. It's been erased, lost to the ages. Because if people were to ever break free from the fascism regime, even for a second, there's a good chance that they could return to the chaos. You could say I'm overthinking this, but even Stardew Valley, which promotes communism, promotes is a key word, not enforces, gives you a choice. Help the evil Georgia corporation or rebuild the community center. Capitalism or communism, you get to decide. But Animal Crossing gives you no choice at all. There's no hard pass on Tom Nook's path. Wants to use a different currency? Nope, only bells. Want to organize the villagers and create a different system? Can't do it. Want to leave Tom Nook's island and start doing your own society? Impossible. Revolution isn't just difficult, it's not even programmed into the game. But at the end of the day, Animal Crossing is just that, a game. Or is it? Let me take you back to March 2020, right when the COVID lockdowns began, and coincidentally, Animal Crossing released. During this time, people marinated in their own despair, and Nintendo knew this. So what did they do? They seized the moment, launching Animal Crossing just as the perfect time to make a surge in popularity. And it worked so well, it became a massive phenomenon overnight. Soon, it was inside millions of homes, normalizing isolation, limitation, and a soft sense of authoritarian control. After all, wasn't it this game that showed us how good it could feel to comply, to trade freedom for a feeling of safety and coziness? And I'll say it again, Animal Crossing is not propaganda to win the war. It's propaganda to maintain the victory. And sometimes, the most dangerous propaganda is the kind that makes you feel safe. Luckily for you, I was here to tell you about it. But if you want to continue breaking free from the brainwashing, you should.